Hello guys, this is Saranda. Welcome back to Remote Hustle HQ. I'm going to explain to you what I did to get things out of my collection, and I also will provide at the end a template that you can use. I'll show like a video snapshot and share my screen to show you like a template that you can use as a guide to get this stuff out of your collection. So for one, why would you want to do this? Because if you can, and we have rights where we can dispute according to certain laws, once your debt has been sold to a collection agency, we have rights to dispute. So why not use your rights and try it out to see if it works? Now, first I want to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not a financial advisor. I am just sharing you what worked for me and my own personal experience. Now, the information that I'm giving you is stuff that I've researched and Googled on my own, and you can do the same too. Also, there's a lot of videos you can watch and try some of the tips that they did, and that is what I've done also. And so I'm coming to you to share to you what worked for me. So the first thing that you want to do is first write you a letter. You don't want to use the online dispute letter form. For one, I found out that it is just an AI person. 9 times out of 10, you'll be dealing with an AI to verify your debt. And so that's why they are going to be able to return your debt as validated, because they're using AI person, versus if you are doing it by letter, you are going to be getting your debt verified by actual human. So when you are dealing with an actual human, then it takes a little bit longer for them to gather up the information to validate that this debt belongs to you. And that's why this is a better method for you to use as far as writing out an actual letter. Also, either both ways, they have at least 30 days to validate your debt. So if they do not validate that this debt belongs to you within 30 days, then they have to delete it. Now, these rules are coming from the Fair Credit Practice Act, which is the FDCPA laws, who regulate all our credit and what happens as far as like the rules between a business and a consumer, is what I was trying to say. And so these are the rules between a business and a consumer. So once your debt is sold, there are rules and laws that all of them have to follow. So if I were you, the first thing also is for you to get familiar with your FDCPA laws. Sometimes they vary between states. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes the FDCPA laws is the same across all the states of America, but you do want to make sure you look into that as well. You can Google this information. You would just put FDCPA laws according to collections, and all this stuff will be pulled up for you. I will also share you that screen at the end as well, just so that you can see what it looks like. And I would, if I were you, get familiar with that as well, because it would help you to add a little more stuff in your letter if you want to go that route as far as getting it deleted off. Now, there are other routes as far as if you do want to pay your debt off. There are other things as far as getting your debt plan negotiated. I have tried that. The only thing with that is I did not see as much as my credit to go up when I did it that way. And you have to, whatever terms you make with the collection agency, you also want to make sure you're able to do it. So whatever you negotiate, make sure that it's something that you know that you can do and keep until you get it paid off. And once it's paid off, make sure you ask for a deletion letter. Or you can ask for a deletion letter before you make your payments, and that can all be for negotiation as well if you want to go that route. But if you you do want to go the route to get it deleted, this is what you have to do, because we do have the right to request that once the original person that you owe sell your debt. So reason why you can do this is, for example, if you owed your original debt, let's just call them Company X. Your terms was with Company X. And if you read a lot of your contracts, they always put, the terms of the contract. If you're not able to pay it, a certain amount of fees will be attached to that before they sell your debt. And then also sometimes they'll have in the contract that once it's sold to collections, that additional fees might be added on there. But sometimes they won't put that in there. Sometimes it's just a general contract saying that if you, for whatever reason, cannot keep your terms, then your debt will be referred over to a collection agency. So once they sell your debt to a collection agency, you no longer owe that Company X anymore. They sold your debt. You no longer owe them. Your terms and conditions and contract was with Company X, not the collection agency. So if they decide to go ahead and refer your account to the collection agency, you really don't owe that debt, sort of say, anymore, because that your terms and contracts was with Company X. So here you go with the collection agency. They buy this debt from Company X and they buy it for pennies. So say that you owe $1,000 with Company X. Well, they didn't buy your debt for $1,000. They might have paid only $50 or $100 to buy this debt that you owe. So it goes to the collection agency, and then what the collection agency does is try to attach all these additional fees that you don't originally owe. So that's where the FDCPA laws come from, because regardless of what was in the terms of your contract, these FDCPA laws trumps whatever in terms and conditions that in between you and the business and the consumer. These laws are to protect you from the collection agency from harassing you for attaching too many fees, additional fees. And so you want to get familiar with how much they can attach fees, because if they do validate your debt, say that they do validate your debt, but the contract, the FDCPA law states that for your state, they cannot charge more than 20% more than what you owe. And that sometimes is the case. So if you owed $1,000, that means they cannot add more than $200 to that original fee. So if you know the collection agency is trying to get more than that, then they have to delete it, because according to FDCPA law for that state, that if it's according to your state, then they cannot charge more than 20% of what you owe. So let me just tell you my experience. I did owe a debt for at least $1,000 with this company. And so once they sold my debt to this collection agency, they was trying to say that I owed about $3,000. Well, that was illegal according to FDCPA law. So what I did is write a letter with my name, my address and phone number and date of birth. And so I put the account number as well. And I told them, please validate this debt. I'm not aware of this debt. And please show the original contract terms. That line alone had it deleted. They weren't able to validate the debt, because a lot of times when they sell your debt, they don't refer over the original contract terms. That company don't usually attach the original terms with the collection agency. So that term alone, I noticed they move quickly to just delete it. So you do want to just dispute and go ahead and try this out. So on the letter, again, this is all you need is your name, your address, your date of birth. Some people put their Social Security on there, but you don't necessarily have to do that. As long as the account number is on there, then that's all you need to put on there. And you will put what you're disputing and put the statement, please validate this debt. I am not aware of this debt, and please show the original terms of the contract. And that's how I did it. Of course, you can add additional things in there. You can put the, account number and say, I don't owe this debt. And if they validate it, you can say, well, according to FDCPA laws, you all cannot charge this much because it's only 20% for this state that you can charge. So even if they validate it, if you put that in there and write back, then they have to delete it back. Now, all of this is in the FDCPA laws, so that's why I said get yourself familiarized with the laws. And trust me, this worked for me, and I know it can probably work for you. And if it doesn't work the first time, you have the right to keep disputing the item. I just know that you cannot dispute too many times within a 30-day period. And also, you can only dispute 5 things in a 30-day period. Make sure you can only dispute 5 things in a 30-day period, because they will attach you as a frivolous person. And so you don't want to be attached to that, and they'll start denying your claims. So I'm going to go ahead and share you some of the screens that I was talking about where I'm getting this information from. I will also put additional information in the description below, but that's what you want to do. You want to write a letter with just your name, your address, date of birth, and you put what you're disputing, why you're disputing it, and also ask for the original contract terms. And when you do that, a lot of times these people don't have time to be looking for the original terms. They don't have time to be validating the debt. And that's how people are getting their debts deleted. Because when you're dealing with an actual human versus an AI, they're going to go ahead and just delete that off. It's too many cases coming in, letters and things that they have to do. And a lot of times it is complicated with trying to get the original terms and debts and all this accuracy. According to law, it has to be accurate and correct, and that's how you get it deleted off. So hopefully this has helped you in some way. If so, give it a thumbs up and let me know if this worked for you. In the meantime, I'm going to share the screen. This is the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, and that's what FDCPA stands for. You can find this on the Federal Trade Commission's website, and this is some of the laws, and this is what trumps any law or any contract that you might have signed for with your original loan terms. The FDCPA Act trumps any other laws or terms within a collection agency, and also between a business and consumer. So you can go to this website, and I will put it in the description below, but these are the laws. So get yourself familiarized with these laws according to your state. Sometimes it's the same across the board, and sometimes some states might have a little bit different laws, but for the most part, this is your federal laws for all of us that live in America. And if you click on the validation of debt, this gives you terms of things that I have discussed. And this is letting you know that the amount of debt has to be, correct between the consumer and the collection. They have to show the records for that, the name of the creditor to whom the debt was originally owed. And so these are all your consumer rights. So that's why I said, why not try? If this is laws that we have rights to, why not try to get your debt delete it off, because like I said, your terms was with the original creditor. It's not with the collection agency. So once it goes to the collection agency, you really don't owe them. You owe the original debt, and they chose to sell your debt off, and they sold it for pennies. And then the collection people try to come back and add all these fees and make money off of your debt. And so they created this because a lot of people were getting, taken advantage of in the past, and they are doing all kind of calling and going outside. So this resource here will help you to read over and get familiarized with your rights as a consumer once it goes into collection. And it's just stating that they have a 30-day period to validate that debt. And if they don't, then it has to be deleted off. And so I'll put this information into the description for you. And so this is also a template for you to overlook, and it just kind of goes over what all you would want to put in your letter for you. And so you want to go ahead, and I'll put that in the description below as well. But as you see, it's just your name, your date of birth on this one, address and phone number, your return address and date, who you're writing it to, one of these 3 bureaus, and then your account number, the source of dispute information, type of dispute information on this one. And so this one is giving you more stuff you can add, but you don't necessarily have to add it, but you do want an explanation of the item being disputed, and it's telling you some other things that you can put in there. So if you want to use this template, but like I said in the beginning of the video, I just kept it simple, and it worked for me, that I asked for them to validate this debt. The debt does not belong to me, or I just don't recognize this debt, and please validate the debt that it belongs to me. And they couldn't do that, and it was deleted off. And like I said, when you do it in letter form through the mail, you might have more of a better possibility that you will get this stuff deleted off. And so that is all, family. I'm going to go ahead and log off, and that's all I wanted to share with you. And so if you want to try it, I think that you should. And if it doesn't work the first time, just try again. I had to try at least 3 times in the beginning because I didn't know what all I needed to put on there. But if you just use these tips, I don't guarantee it, but it can work for you to have this credit stuff deleted off for you. All right, guys, I hope that helped you. I'll put the description of all the different things that I shared in this video in the description, and go ahead and look forward to the next video with you. Thank you for your time.